Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're with us again this morning. We appreciate your loyal viewership. Look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and hard-working crew taking care of everyday comfort and needs. High today, 91, low 77. This continues to be warm here in the Florida Panhandle. Take a look at water temperature brought to us by Rancho Copy, brought to us by them and Area Paints Company. We're looking at right at 86 degrees, pretty steady right there. Looking at our river readings, this morning brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. The Apalachicola Blushhound is reading a 7.7. And going over to that, the Choctaw Caravelle, 3.7. So it looks, both rivers looking good right now. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at the high tide at 7:12 this morning and low tide at 6:20 tonight. But look at those tides this week. Is that not amazing how strong they are? Ironically, look at next week. Next week is almost full of neap tides. I don't know what's causing this right here, but it's been interesting to look up. I'm sure there's some kind of phenomena going on that's causing it. A marine forecast coming east, northeast at about 5 to 10. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. You know, yesterday I had on Captain B.J. Burkett talking about hook 'em up charters, but really talking about the fishing rodeo coming up. But he has 3 boats, been in a good while. And at the end of the show, I brought up sharks, and we ran out of time, but we continued. When the show went off air, we continued talking about how bad the sharks were. Now I've heard this from so many of y'all have been fishing. I've heard about how many sharks are out there. So he had a statistic. He said, keep up with it. Okay, I wrote it down. He normally, with his 3 boats, he'll buy 600 pounds of lead for the season. Okay, and that would take him to 3 boats for the lead to take it to the bottom, you know, out of the lead. This year, he's gone through, this fishing season, he's gone through 1,500 pounds of lead. So that's a great scientific study, unscientifically, but how much sharks have attacked all the rigs on his 3 boats. He said one of his captains the other day lost 28 rigs on one trip. So that sort of puts in perspective how things are as far as sharks. And we've heard it over from so many of y'all have talked about it. You know, I tell you what, another good fisherman fishes all the time, Jerry Forehand. He said he'd never seen it like it. So just pass on that information. Okay, moving on, got some picture, but we talked about technology yesterday too, the good and the bad about technology. These captains work hard to make a living, and they build their own structures. They always have generation after generation. But what has happened over the time with electronics, people can zap you or whatever, zap you if they see your boat there. And I know, they'll zap you and see you fishing, so they'll get the readings and they'll actually steal your spot. I don't care what anybody says, it's stealing. When you see another boat fishing on a spot, on their spot, and what's aggravating these people, these folks coming down from different places and don't know anything about fishing, but they see a charter boat captain fishing there, and the charter boat captain worked their behinds off all these years to fish in that spot, and then these yahoos steal it, and that's gotten worse and worse. So talking about technology, I pulled up this picture here. Here's that technology at all levels. This is a little overboard right here, literally. But how much money I wasted. Look at, you know, that takes away the joy to me of fishing with all that kind of stuff. And it's crazy, and I know that's sort of semi-posed, but that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. All the electronics, you can go out there exactly, instead of working for it and finding the fish, boom, there it is. That just bothers me a little bit. Move on, one of my former students, Carson Pope, he's into photography now. Isn't there some cool picture right there? Good job, Carson Pope. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Look at Myron Lamont on the Choctaw River last week. It was pretty slow. It was slow fishing that night, but he got 2 nice ones. Good job, Myron. That's some 2 nice catfish. Okay, moving on here. This is true. My husband and I are relaxing on the deck tonight because every time we leave the house, it costs over $150. I hear that a lot, and I experienced that a lot. Talking about the Saltash River, you know, I love walking. This picture right here, talking about how the old loggers, and this reminds me of all of our river systems. Walking, we used to walk along the bank and go way up there to go fishing, and all would be snakes and all, but you'd always see these falling down, big old trees. Now this one's been cut, and a logger had cut that, and then they floated it down the river. That's just part of our history and our heritage. And this next picture right here, this is a recent picture. There's still some big ones down there. They don't log them anymore. They're sort of protected. But what beautiful trees these cypress trees are all throughout our river system. Okay, speaking of which, right around the corner, the Bad Cat Classic, the catfishing tournament over here, Carabelle, September the 6th, $100 a boat. And what I like, they got all three categories now: flathead, blue cat, and channel cat. And one team member must be under 17 years of age, or you got to pay extra fee. But anyway, take a kid with you. And University of Florida's extension agent helping out on this. So this is really good, right there at Carabelle. And I hope we'll get that. Okay, so anyway, this was, I know scallop season just started, but I meant to put this in last week. They're planning, I don't know if it was found this weekend or not, they're planting 6 golden scallops in the turtle grassy shallows for scallop season. You find one, bring it to Point South Marina to redeem a $100 shopping spree. Now what has happened, there's been several different companies or groups and all put different colored scallops out there, sort of like an Easter egg hunt, and they have prizes. I forget what other people, I forget who else is doing it, but I've heard 2 or 3 different ones. Some are colored and some are golden. But anyway, we'll report it later on this week. We'll give a good scallop report on what's going on. You know, when you're out in the tree, let's jump into hunting now. You're out in the tree stand, you get there dark, and it's very relaxing, and it's, dawn starts breaking, and you're sort of looking through the trees, and you just imagine that big buck walks out, and this is a great picture of exactly what a lot of us have been through. Check this out right here. Before sunrise, you just imagine, you see that right there, when the sun comes up, it's a tree. I got a chuckle out of that because that is so true. You try to make out things as the dawn is breaking, and I'm looking forward to a hunting season coming up before long. Chris Kramer, his son caught his first billfish. That is so cool. Chris does a good job taking those boys fishing, and that's a big old smile on his face. He's happy. They all started back in school now, so they had to get a last fishing trip in. Good job, Chris. Ernie Martin, we called him the other day, and this is Tegan Bortner fishing with her grandfather. Now look at that big old smile on her face. It looks like a pond, farm pond or something with dock on it. That's cool. And I told Ernie, love this, we'll get it on, and good luck with the start of school. He's got a bunch of classes over there. Let's go and take a break. I'll come back and read this story here. There's a great story coming up. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. You know, we're talking a lot about social media and all the bad stuff on it, but you know, at times, a lot of times, if you just focus on the good stuff, we're very blessed to it. I get to hear a lot of stories and share a lot of stories from different viewers, and this is one of our. I've known Wayne a long time. This story is, I'm gonna have to read it because it's just very inspirational. This is Tina Stanford Rutherford, but hey, this is Steve. This is from Steve Rutherford. Okay, so you'll appreciate this. I finally got released from light duty a week ago after my final radiation treatment and couldn't wait to get back on the water. We know that feeling. Okay, so after not fishing for almost 3 months, I said a little prayer to keep me safe. And if you can throw a couple of fish in there too, Lord, that would be great. We said that prayer. I really didn't care if I caught much or not, but well, you know. Plus, it'd been in the middle of August, a northeast wind, and not knowing where the fish were holding up because of my absence, I didn't expect much action. I watched the sun rise on East Bay through the clouds and thank God for his blessings. Always my favorite part of the end of the morning trip. The wind was suppressing the opposing incoming tide. The water temperature was 84, and in Menhaden that were present 3 months ago were nowhere to be seen. So again, I was afraid to get my hopes up for catching much. Fortunately, I was wrong. By hitting several spots, I was able to find enough current that held fish, and by adjusting my tactics, I was able to catch my limit of trout, plus this beautifully marked 31.5-inch red that was a battle of the day on 10-pound braid. Also caught 3 small reds and several more trout. Stayed cloudy all morning, and it was truly a blessing. And here it is right here. Look at that. Back at the house, a nice mess of fish, great picture. And look at that big red right there, all those spots. And you see what I caught it on. Good job, Wayne. I'm glad you're doing better. Glad you got to get out and go fishing. We understand what you're talking about. Okay, I took this. I was at a stoplight the other day. I like to read people's bumper stickers and window stickers. I just saw the word Jesus, so I tried to zoom in on it. Let me see. Let me zoom in on it because I know what I'm talking about. Do you follow Jesus this closely? That's a good one right there. Because I'm like everybody else. I don't like people get up right behind me and all, that bothered me. That was a funny one right there. This is Matt Smith, and again, he's a captain out there every day, inshore. Here's his report. Like every summer, we've had a little weather to work around lately. It cools the air and the water, which makes fishing better. Some of our most memorable days have happened in the rain. Here's a picture of the rain. This little boy fishing in the rain. They pulled in there on the dock. And you know, we've talked about that before. I've always had this theory and Matt proves it a lot of times that when that rain's coming down, when it hits the surface of the water, and I remember I talked to Captain Roy about this a lot. He felt the same way. It hits the surface of the water and splashes, and I have this thing in my mind that sort of, I use the word oxygenates the water. In other words, it gets more oxygen in the water, so the fish start moving around more, and it also stirs up all the little stuff in the water, just stirs it up because it's splashing around, and when the movement, everything starts moving around. That's a theory. I'm sure some marine biologist has proven it, and probably another one has disproven it, but that's just because from years of fishing after rain, sometimes fishing in rain. I don't like the rain if it's thunder or lightning, but it's just a lot of rain. Like we've had these thunder showers that come in. Is that not, last week, was that not a typical summer week where the showers are popping up here and going away? You drive through town for about 3 or 4 blocks, a heavy rain, and then here comes the sun. And I just like that kind of weather. Moving on to Captain Kim from Sea Quarters sent us a good report over the weekend. Captain Kim, this is Jamie Thomas talking about a super yellowtail. Check that out. Is that not a beautiful fish? And look at the calm seas. I'm telling you folks, you get a chance to fish around the Carabel area, it is something special. She sent some more pictures too. That was a good trip right there. I don't have the names of all of them, but look at that trip. You think they had a good trip? And you can see the clouds in the background. Again, that's just some typical summer kinds of weather. And one more. This comes from a charter boat, the Hammerhead. And what a fine trip. They're at Sea Quarters Marina, and let's see, it looks like a family. But just go down and look at the grouper and beeliners, and is that a fine mess of fish right there? And you know, when you go on trips like this, I know when we go on a trip, on a charter boat trip, I used to clean all my fish. Now I pay to get them clean, but our family, they always want to look on my calendar about when I have my fishing trip planned, because most times it's on a Saturday, because on that Sunday we're going to have a fish fry. We used to do it on Saturday night, but we can't get everybody together on Saturday night, so we still do our fish fries, but it's something special about fresh fish. It's the same way we're catching freshwater brim, any kind of freshwater fish, and just cooking them right after you catch them. They just have, I don't care what anybody says, it just has a special taste to it. I've got let's see, I'll move on. This is interesting, jumping into, this is University of Florida. Support wild turkey research, and they're having a workshop coming up in a couple of days. And it's interesting, wild turkey research, and I was trying to see what they actually do on it. Okay, it's going to be, it's a banquet. This one is, doors open at 5. It's going to be down in Gainesville, sponsoring the table. But anyway, they're going to share all the research. I didn't know they did that much research at the University of Florida on the turkey. But read that bottom paragraph. I know we're not going to be able to go, but your ticket includes dinner, open bar, live action, and raffles that will feature over $30,000 in prizes, guided trips, and all that. But what I want to put this up here, you don't have to go because you can participate online if you want to actually participate in that auction. That's a big deal. Or if you want to donate to the mission, but I didn't realize Florida's doing that much research in the wild turkey because the FWC has actually extended turkey season for youth this year. The youth weekend is going a bit longer. In fact, I've got it here. Let's take a quick break and I'll come right back to it. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. How about 8:41 to 10:41 this morning and 9:11 to 11:11 tonight. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. This is anniversary of has nothing to do with outdoors other than this guy that really enjoyed fishing. The movie Walking Tall, this happened in 1967, okay? That's when he was ambushed and he and his wife, there's actually a beautiful picture right there after he was shot. But anyway, the story is the anniversary in August of 1967 when they were ambushed. But most of y'all saw the movie, but he was 6'6", 250 pounds, and he loved to fish up there, he and his dad. But he got in trouble when he destroyed 86 whiskey stills. He's doing the right thing, and of course the mobsters fought back. And this was just really an impressive movie because it's a true story. I've been to that part of the country, and I've been to the places he was shot. Gail and I have. It was amazing, but he was killed in August the 21st, 1974, and they think that was set up too. But anyway, right here, our family in Alabama were related to Pride Dawson. They said a Dawson gang is the one that killed him. So this coming from a family member. And our uncle swore that Pride Dawson was involved in the attack. They were members of the Dixie Mafia. So anyway, so they paid Dawson to do it. But anyway, that's interesting right there coming from a family member. But anyway, let's get back to moving some outdoor stuff. I just wanted to share those things with you. Also talking about flashbacks, I got this, I get these memories and all. This was at Buckmasters. This is when Whitney was doing her show, Cast and Call. That's the booth they had. This was in 2013 or 2014. The movie, their show, Cast and Call, they had a really good turnout. I remember that a lot of folks were interested in doing that. Okay, moving on. This is a rattlesnake bite up here. This is up in Tennessee, but the guy was hiking, and he was at a state park up there, and emergency management came. They reacted and everything, but he was bitten. They immediately did CPR, but they hooked up a machine, transported to the hospital. He later died, and a firefighter drove to the man's home to get his wife and took her to the hospital. It was really a sad situation. So, that it happens. Okay. Okay, coming up. We're always talking about doing things ahead of time. It's going to be on October the 18th. The Liberty County 4-H presents a wild game dinner. It's going to be a silent auction and gun raffle. It's going to be at Veterans Memorial Civic Center. And there's the people there to contact, sponsor tables, and get a table to 8 and all that. And it's going to be really cool. The 4-H is a special group right there. And look at us, featured speakers. They ask all kinds of people. They couldn't get anybody else, so they got me. And also, Mac Danvers from Grand Ridge. He's a Texas Tailgater Baseball Savannah Banana League third baseman. And a special video on him. So anyway, looking forward to it. And I've always loved the 4-H. I tell the joke, well, I was in it. Actually, I remember in third grade, I won a little medal. I couldn't even spell the word. It was entomology, because I turned in some ladybugs to the teacher and part of 4-H, and they gave me I got a little medal for entomology, and I couldn't pronounce it, much less spell it. But I told it so long ago, I told the people it was 3 H's instead of 4 H's, but now it's 4 H's. But anyway, the 4-H is really strong, and so is FFA. Appreciate all that. Okay, real quick, the Python challenge, the woman won that, okay? It was so cool. There were 300 caught, and they closed out, and they had rewards for it. And her name is, let's see, Stanberry's last name. She won, she calls herself a venomous keeper. And there's a history of, they've all caught more than 23, killed more than 23,000. Okay, so here's a picture of her at the FWC meeting last week getting a check. Okay, look at the little girl there. She caught more pythons than anybody. Is that not cool? And but here's her name is Taylor Stanberry, and she actually captured 60 pythons. And then it goes into different categories. And look at the names right there. The first two names there are two ladies, Donna and Hannah. Then novice, that's Krista and Kimberly. Look at the girls. They took over this. And the military had the military people category and novice. But look at all. And the longest one, 15 feet, 11 inches. Look around your living room and see how far 15 feet is. That's the longest one this year. And so anyway, some other things, we talked about the black bear hunt. They're going to have it. We're going to talk more about it. It's going to be highly regulated, but they approved that last week. I showed you this picture Friday about the hunters there in support of it, which had a lot to do with it passing. And all right, now, they also proposed a rule for the Gulf Lane snapper, increasing from 8 inches to 10 inches on the commercial and recreational side, and also a limit of 20 per person, which I think is good. They expanded the youth turkey hunt, and it's going to go to, they surveyed the people, and it's going to go actually, instead of Saturday and Sunday, it's going to go Friday through a Monday in the management area. Good stuff there. Okay, and also got a quick picture, real quick, of the jaws. This is a real jaws. The biggest one ever caught on rod and reel. It was 3,427 pounds, and it was caught in August of 1986 in New York. Can you see those teeth? And you see the reel it brought in on. So that was a lot of cool stuff. Okay, here's a girl who won a python. There she is right there. You got her tattoos and then you got her python. And she's a venomous keeper. And I just thought that was really cool. Good stuff on the python challenge, and a lot of good stuff happened. Got to wrap it up. Got a special guest coming in the rest of the day after tomorrow. And y'all do something good for someone else today. Have a great day. Do something good for someone, like I say, that's so important. Enjoy the outdoors, take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.